So occasionally I get these anxiety fits, and I feel like I cannot do anything about it. I just feel very anxious, even though I had different plans, and maybe I was going to do something relaxing. And then I find myself in this anxiety state, and my mind just goes all over the place. And then I look at my planner 10,000 times, and I'm trying to understand what I need to be doing, and then I may even feel like, okay, I got some clarity, I know what I'm going to do, and then in a second I forget what it was, and it's just, I'm all over the place. I cannot retain anything. I'm just in this anxious, weird state of mind. And I feel like all my plans go out the window, and that makes me feel even more anxious. And I feel like time is flying, and I cannot seize it. Cannot like seize the time and be productive and actually do something. And then I find myself several hours later still in this state, and I just cannot come out of it. I may still be at point zero, and I feel like, where did this time go? Because I had so many hours and I have not accomplished anything. And then it gradually goes away, and when I'm on the other side, I'm like, oh, what was that about? I feel more normal again, and I even understand at that point that it's not even personal. Like, it wasn't personal, even though my mind interpreted it as personal, and I could hear all that noise and panic in my mind, and it was translating all of that into personal situations or personal judgments about myself, about the situation I'm in, all of that. But then when it's over, and when I start feeling better, when I start getting out of that state, and then I realize it wasn't even about me. It's like I got caught in this energetic whirlwind for whatever reason, and then I was able to get out of it, and now I feel okay. But unfortunately, a day can pass, or 2 days, and then I have to go back to normal life, so to speak, and I feel like I was not even able to take care of basic things, and well, that's not very uplifting. But I wonder if there's a conscious way to control this, because currently, for the most part, it's happening on a more, like, I'm aware of it, but I'm not sure I can control it. Right? I cannot instantly get out of that state, or maybe it's normal, I don't know. Maybe I just have to, surf the wave and just wait until it's over. It's just my mind becomes so hectic, trying to fix it, trying to get out of it, trying to understand what's going on, that, it just makes things worse. I cannot just let go and sit quietly and, wait until the storm is over. So that adds some level of mental anxiety as well. Have you noticed anything like that?
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I've learned is I can't afford at this point in the game, I can't afford to sacrifice my sleep, because I had a night where I had like 6.5 hours of sleep, and it was not good sleep. And then I worked all day downstairs in the gallery, because there's a lot of stuff going on with that. But I was so tired and I was trying to function, and finally at like 5:30 I said, I've got to go upstairs and I got to just chill. And I laid down, and I had some just really scary, like they were really happening to me, dreams. And I've had that happen before in my life, but it's nothing quite like that before. And it felt like collective energy. It didn't feel like just my own little personal experience. Now, I don't have any way of knowing that, obviously, but on some level I'm like, what is this? Like, where is this coming from? And I've been really good to stay off of the news, and I go check it out once in the morning, maybe, and sometimes not even once in the morning. I might check it out at night after the day is done for a little bit, and then I shut it down. I don't listen to the conspiracy theories. I just go and I get the whatever the details are, and I go, okay, that's the best I can do for today. I shut it down and move on. I will have to say the only thing for me that's been a saving grace, which I know we've talked about before, has been when I feel that anxiety arise, and I do. There's no question about it. I go, the only thing I can return to is like breathing in and breathing out slowly, because it brings me just to that present moment. What I'm finding is that more and more I'm doing that. So far I haven't been able to sustain a time period where I don't have that anxiety pop back up again. That vulnerability feeling that is really underneath the anxiety. We've talked about that before. I notice that I have to concentrate. Like as soon as that stuff shows up, the other day I had a block of lead in my chest, in my heart area, in my chest area. And I was like, oh dear God, I've got to do something to change this. And the only thing that would shut that down for even a minute was breathing. That was it. Beyond that, there wasn't anything that I could do within the scope of still getting things done in the store. So I was doing a ton of breathing. Like, I don't know, I might have to breathe a dozen breaths in a row to bring myself back to center, and then I might be able to get a little bit of stuff done. And then I noticed the feeling in my body again, and I had to go right back to that. That was the only thing. It is not a super productive way to get things done, but it's certainly better than having a heart attack or whatever, being on lockdown for the rest of your day because you're freaked out, right? I think what we're going through is just so, I just think we don't have any idea about the origins of it and the reason for it, in a way that we can comprehend with our current framework. And I'm pointing here because that's our framework we operate from in a lot of cases. I just feel like there's stuff going on we don't know. I don't know that we can know at this point in the game with our development. I think there's a lot of wonderful things coming out of this whole thing, and I think there's a lot of very destructive, and maybe it's a good destructive, I don't know. It feels a lot to be packed in this human body, knowing I'm so much more than that, knowing you're so much more than that, and to see us trying to dance or negotiate and dance. There's very different words. Maybe it's some masculine and feminine moving around. I feel more safe when I can figure it out or I can feel into it. But right now I feel like my feelings are more a reaction to my thinking. Does that make sense? So it's confusing. The whole thing is confusing. It's totally disrupted everything we grew up and know and were taught. For the most part, I've been distressed. At the level of fact, I've been distressed. And even though I'm super optimistic and I'm hopeful that we're going to come out of this being better, there's been a ton of time where I've felt heavy, and my physical body has felt heavy, and there's part of me that goes, wonder how much longer I can take this on a physical level. And then there's a part of me that says, on some level, I signed up for this. Like, I feel like I signed up for this. So I must have had some belief in myself, whatever that means, on some level when I signed up for it. I'm having a hard time balance. I feel like I've got a foot in two worlds, the three-dimensional reality, and then I'm trying to straddle the new dimensional reality with that, not knowing. This doesn't work anymore, and this doesn't work. I mean, this I don't know yet. It feels very challenging. I've been through a lot in my life, and I have never experienced anything this challenging. I've made it through all of that stuff.
That's what I've been thinking, because I've been through a lot myself, but this is much harder now to navigate and go through on the mental, emotional level. And I felt extremely heavy myself this past week. I couldn't get anything done at all. And today I was finally able to come down around 1 p.m. when I finally managed to put myself in a chair and sit quietly and breathe, like you said. Only then I started coming out of that anxiety, and as much as I could, I tried to tune into myself, into my heart. It was not very, it was not a very deep connection, but whatever I could do. And then it started gradually subsiding. What I think is happening probably is we are releasing a lot, and a lot of it is not even personal. It's a lot of we have a lot of trash and heaviness in our collective human consciousness. Now it's all coming out and up. Everybody's feeling it. It's just a matter of the degree to which you understand consciously what's happening, what's going on. So I think it's very crucial to understand that it's not even personal oftentimes, even though our minds interpret whatever's going on as being personal. Just that fact, knowing that it's not yours, it's not their personal problem, makes it so much like it takes a lot of weight off the situation and lets you go through it with more ease. And I think there's probably not much you can actually do, because whatever arises has to come out and through you, because we are all like little processing transformers, and we process this energy and we feel it, and we must be able to release it, and it can take a bit of time. It's hard for this release process to be instantaneous. But unfortunately, our human minds are having a big problem with this, because then we look at it as a nuance. Like, come on, I had my plan and now it's all ruined, right? And is there anything I can do about it, or speed it up, or get rid of it?
We've got a lot of the things that have made us, we've talked about this a little bit before too, the things that have the primitive brain, the fight or flight, or I shouldn't even say primitive, it is primitive because it goes way back, that's what got us to where we are, the fight or flight response, which shuts down our creativity. Like you were pointing to that earlier, like I got all these creative ideas, or I've got all these ideas, things I want to do, plans, hopes, dreams that are formulating, and they all happen up here. And unfortunately, when we get into that fear state and that anxiety state where our basic needs are threatened, which they are at this point in the game, putting a roof over your head, figuring out how to feed yourself, the basic needs of a being to survive on this planet are being threatened. Or in our case, they may not literally be threatened, but not having a roof over your head is one of the base needs. So as soon as that becomes the main point of focus, like it is for a lot of people on this planet right now, then all the energy goes back here and you don't have the blood flow up in the front, which is where all the creative centers are. So it may be that our brains are actually undergoing some sort of transformational state that we can't even understand yet. If we did choose to come into this lifetime in this form, I'm hoping that my awareness has a higher level of going, trust me, you got this. I never would have put you through this if I didn't know that you could handle it and you would make it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Otherwise, I'm like, why did I do this? Honestly.
But then imagine how on a higher level, on the soul level, how strong you are to want to come down here into this world and go through this transformation and help to uplift the whole planet into a new paradigm, right? That takes a lot of bravery and commitment and courage, and so we have to acknowledge that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% on board. I just think there's a higher part of us that knew Trust me, you got what it takes. Let's go. Let's go do this thing. Whatever this thing happens to be, and I don't even know. But it is, I do believe it's elevating human consciousness. That's certainly what brought you and I together. I think. I mean, I feel. It's more than thinking, it's feeling on a deep level.
Funny because now that I come down finally and I start feeling better, I am sweating profusely.
Yeah. Cleansing.
And I think this is the external form that this release takes. So now it's physical and I'm sweating and I feel very hot.
It's definitely a way we, as human beings in the human body, get rid of toxins. So it makes perfect sense with all the stuff you've got going on, and what you're describing, that your body would take that, offloading some of it. I do believe we've got what it takes to make it through. I just think there's so much. I was having a really hard time 2 days ago. That was when I had that dream that was just so, like, I was struggling. I was fighting for my life, and I couldn't see these beings or whatever they were around me. I couldn't quite see them. They were sort of human form. They were sort of not human form. I mean, it was a dream, but I knew I was being held against my will, basically. That's what it felt like. But that day was the day that I felt like I was walking around with a lead block in my chest, like my heart area in particular. It wasn't in my stomach. It was clearly right across my heart center. That was scary.
Oh, I can imagine. I've been having disturbing dreams too, and disturbed sleep, and I don't get enough sleep these days for various reasons. And I've been having headaches too. So a lot is going on. Definitely.